All right, so do we have other questions?
Yes, we have one request actually. Someone would like to know if you have a cartoon that makes fun of Buffalo that you could show us.
Let's see. I mean, I definitely have poked fun at our hometown here. I'm trying to think that I could show you. I don't know if I'd have to search for it. I mean, and honestly, I probably would have more cartoons defending other people making fun of Buffalo than making fun of the city myself. But I do poke fun at like some of our local residents that aren't so wise sometimes, or our local politicians. I don't think I have anything offhand that I can pull up.
Oh, here, I have one that I just found. Let me see if I can open it in a page here. Yeah, that worked. Let me share the screen. Hold on one second. This seems like a recent one. I just did a Google search, so I don't know if it.
Oh, I have a Tom Brady when he. I have a lot of Bills cartoons, that's for sure.
Yeah, this is 2020. So tell us what this is.
So Tom Brady is like the public enemy #1 in Buffalo, because he has just basically, dominated the AFC East, and the Bills have been really held back because the Patriots have been so dominant. So this is saying, now with Tom Brady gone as a buck, the Bills can finally buck the Pats and like actually be dominant in the AFC East. And sure enough, Josh Allen and the Bills have been on a pretty good tear, except for last night, which was really tough to watch. They were pretty flat-footed, but yeah, I mean, it's funny. A lot of my local cartoons are Bills, Sabres. Sometimes it's City Hall and corruption, or just social. Actually, a few cartoons recently were Buffalo Police. I've gone after quite a bit, and that's gotten me into some trouble over the years. But
well, that's a great caricature, Brady, and he's a pretty boy. So you got you got.
But they take longer.
Yeah, I know.
I have to redraw that a couple times.
No, that was terrific, but yeah, not bad for just a quick Google search there. So
nice.
I think we have time for a couple more questions.
Well, someone has asked, how can the OPC help save cartoonists?
Oh, that's interesting.
I mean, they can, well, for one, I mean, keeping the award going and really supporting them, I think it's not a lot of cartooning awards give monetary prizes, and the prestige of the OPC, both that and giving award money, it's supporting cartoons, it's inspiring cartoonists to keep creating and to keep entering. And I mean, I don't know. I don't want to speak to what they can do as an organization. I don't know if Rob, if you have any insight into that, but I just think, having cartooning as an element in their award program, I think alone is important.
Yeah, I think any organization, reputable journalism organization that recognizes satire as an important part of the journalistic efforts that are happening is great, and that does a lot. That goes a long way to help the cartooning industry in terms of its importance. As far as trying to sort of save jobs for cartoonists, I think that's more of an economic thing that I don't think any one group has the answer for that.
Yeah.
I think, somebody like, Jeff Bezos has more opportunity to save. He could hire all of us to just work freelance, and it would be a drop in the bucket for him. But no, the Overseas Press Club is just like any other organization. They do great work, but they also I think take donations, because I believe they're a nonprofit. Is that correct, Chad? Do you know?
I can answer that.
Or Patty, yeah.
Yeah, wait, I'll do my video. We're a nonprofit membership organization. And so you can't deduct what you donate to the OPC from your tax returns. But we can, help promote the value that you do. And I have to say, in the last couple years, we had raised money to um, uh, subsidize the entry fees for the awards competition, because cartoonists in particular had complained that some of the other competitions, the entry fee was lower. And we didn't feel like we could, for administrative and fairness purposes, we have to have everybody's entry fee be the same. But what we have now is money to subsidize entry fees. The entry fee is $200, and we can give subsidies that can reduce it to $50 for people who ask for a subsidy. And I have to say, a lot of the ones who asked were cartoonists.
Mhm.
So we try to help that way.
Yeah, and I think that's made a difference in terms of people entering or not, because there are cartoonists like myself who used to be at a newspaper and now are freelancing. So the cost becomes prohibitive when you have several cartoon contests to enter. So no, it's been very helpful.
No, we understand that it in this day and age, any amount of money can be a lot for freelancers.
Mhm. Well, that brings up another topic, and I don't know how many more questions we have, Chad, but one of the questions I get a lot is, what is the future for editorial cartooning, and is it, will we see maybe a rebirth of newspapers? Could that possibly happen, where enough people are saying, I want to finance this newspaper, or I want to finance that newspaper? Or do you think, we're really headed for a time when there may not be any print journalism, and we're only going to see online cartoons? Oh, Adam is you're muted again. I'm not sure how that happened, but okay.
You're unmuted now.
Okay. I mean, it's an impossible question to really answer, but I feel like the reach of newspapers still remains incredibly strong. Like, I mean, so we have a new publisher at the Buffalo News, Tom Wiley, and he spent almost a year sort of researching some of his ideas before he took over. And then he got numbers on our current reach in our market and our penetration rate. And the Buffalo News is one of those really strong regional papers that had an 80% penetration rate like years and years ago. And the numbers he got back were we still have 80% of the market, of all readers, all people in Western New York see the Buffalo News. Granted, the portion of that is the website, but even the print product still has, I want to say, 60% of the readers in Western New York. So it's one of those things where, like Rob, like some papers like the Minneapolis Star Tribune and the Boston Globe have figured out how to get subscriptions to the point where they can support a newsroom. Mm-hmm. I think like editors and publishers around the country are really trying to see who's making it work, and hopefully slowly enough newspapers will, figure that equation out where they can finance. Granted, in the long run, they're going to need some rich people to step in, like Jeff Bezos, and a lot of papers aren't going to make it. I tend to think it's going to be a mix. I think that newspapers will survive, and they'll be more of a niche. And the irony is, cartoons are more and more popular. They're more popular than ever because they're so shareable on social media. So you're going to see like a new crop of cartoonists that aren't really drawing in the traditional manner. And the challenge will be, how do you get them to make money? And I think, like, Rob, you've been such a creative, everyone admires your work, and you're one of the most brilliant cartoonists in the country. And when you lost your job, everyone was like, are you kidding me? Like, Rob Rogers? Like, how is this happening? And so, everyone reached out to support, and you were forced to figure out a new model, like many other freelancers out there before you. So I think publications are going to continue to support cartooning, but there needs to slowly be more of like a culture shift and an acceptance that this is, you know, sort of like an important part of American journalism. I think, you know, there's times where that wavers.
Mhm.
Continuing having these awards and continuing to show the importance of cartooning will help. But having the economics catch up, that's going to be the key.
Before we go, I want to share, I did find one local cartoon that you did. And I don't know how recent this was, but I'm going to share the screen again. 2017, it looks like. Do you remember what prompted this?
Yes, this was during the refugee ban, like when Trump
Yeah.
on refugees coming from you know, Sudan, Iraq, Iran, Burma, Syria, Somalia. I had these are people, these are sects of Buffalonians. These are, you know, there's neighborhoods with some of these you know, ethnicities that are just, they're great people in Buffalo. We have actually a really big Burmese population in Buffalo, and when Trump had the you know, the travel ban, this was my response to that. I wanted to do something positive. And at the bottom it says city, I think it's a little cropped off for me anyway. I think it says city of good neighbors, which is what Buffalo is known as.
Right.
So I had them saying, this is what we're making Buffalo great again. And really in the Rust Belt city of Buffalo, we've had a lot of our population gains have been from refugees and immigrants, and they're injecting culture and life into our city that, you know, that we need. So, and here in Buffalo, it's very liberal, progressive in the city, but very rural. Trump supporters like outside of the area, much like Pittsburgh. But it was my sort of like rebuke to that, you know, my rebuttal. And that one's been, people are making lawn signs out of it, and it continues to be a popular cartoon.
Yeah, no, that was a great one. I was also wondering, what are some of the local topics that you find to be, I mean, besides the sports, is there any, I mean, do you have any interesting mayors or even the governor? I mean, I guess the
Yes,
governor.
Governor Cuomo has been great in terms of cartoons, because he's, you know, he likes to, you know, I mean, he created this Buffalo Billion initiative, and some of that has been controversial and corrupt. So there's a lot of corruption in the state. So Cuomo's been, and he's great to draw. I mean, talk about, you know, like all the lines in his face, and he's got this Italian mob quality to him. But for a while, a big push for me was the bishop and the sex abuse scandal. Buffalo had a priest abuse scandal that was very much like Boston, and it was like, you know, the lawsuits were growing, the allegations were growing, the pressure to have the bishop resign was just mounting. Bishop Malone. So at one point I was almost having like a cartoon a week on that. And I remember my editor was like thrilled that we were strong on this. And I would hear from somebody from the bishop's team that he was very sensitive to these cartoons. And he was on, like, when the new editor-in-chief, he's not new anymore, Mike Connolly took over a few years ago, and he met the bishop. The first thing he said to him was, now we got to talk about that cartoonist. So he was not happy with, you know, with my work. So that was a sign that, you know, I was, you know, my work was effective.
Mm-hmm. No, that's great. Yeah, my publisher had a similar relationship with the bishop in Pittsburgh. So, all right. Well, Chad, do we have one last question, or is this a good place to stop?
It seems like maybe we could wrap up at this
Okay.
point.
All right. Well, thank you to the Overseas Press Club of America, and thank you to Patty and Chad for pulling this together, and mostly thank you to Adam Zyglis in Buffalo for being a great cartoonist and for winning this year's award. Congratulations again.
Thank you, Rob, and thanks for being an inspiration to me. You know, I've always loved your work, and it was an honor to be with you on this panel. And thank you to Patty and the Overseas Press Club again. It's an amazing honor, and I'm, you know, very grateful.
Thank you for the insight into the cartoonist's creative brain. It was fascinating. Thank you very much.
Thanks.
Thank you. All right. Good night, everybody.
Thanks for coming, everyone. Thank you.